Hey.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Fireside Friday. This is something that we started at the Delaware Entrepreneurial Center at Ohio Wesleyan University.
Mhm.
You may have seen us a couple weeks ago. We kind of did a test run with the awesome Mr. Ken Wentworth, Mr. Biz.
Mhm.
He gave a great talk on cash flow and financial advice. And that's what we hope to deliver to you during these sessions. So something that, fireside chats can kind of be they're unscripted. They're just genuine chats with awesome people doing amazing things, right? And so that's kind of what we've done here. So our goal is to get up to weekly, where we've got these things out there as a resource, so that you guys can tune in. Right now, we're streaming via Facebook Live, but we'll be going out to hopefully YouTube and LinkedIn once we build an audience. Hint, hint. So help us out. Share this with your friends if you find value. And put us out there. But each week we'll have a guest on. So today's guest is none other than the executive director of both the Career Connection at Ohio Wesleyan University and the Delaware Entrepreneurial Center at Ohio Wesleyan University, Megan Ellis. Megan, welcome to Fireside Friday.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be included in that awesome panel of folks. So thank you. I like being included in that range and umbrella. So I'm so excited to be here, excited to have this chat.
Yeah. Well, so I think that we're the Delaware Entrepreneurial Center is 2.5 years, I guess, old. Opened
right.
in November. We had the ribbon cutting ceremony in October, but November of 2018. You were instrumental in this process. You were on the inside, the official, executive director of the center as it got started. But it's like a startup, right? I mean, this is a new thing at Ohio Wesleyan University. They've had an entrepreneurship department for years, but this is a new format, and we've got the city and the county of Delaware, respectively, both involved here. But can you just kind of, for those that this might be the first time they're ever hearing about this thing and the resource, kind of give some color on the origin of the center and your involvement and kind of where it kind of stemmed from and what was the thesis or the goal to be accomplished?
Absolutely. You're right. We are a startup. It's pretty neat to see that come full circle. Some of this really started from this very organic and grassroots desire from our students and our just community on campus to have more hands-on opportunities for entrepreneurs, for student entrepreneurs, for working with that mindset and with other entrepreneurs. So we started thinking about that. We don't have a major specifically for entrepreneurship at Ohio Wesleyan. As a liberal arts institution, we really like to think about that mindset, though, because it really does translate what we're teaching on campus into the entrepreneurial mindset. So having grit, being persistent, taking risks, being a continual learner, those are all the elements that really make you a strong entrepreneur. And that is also what we're developing in our students. So is this nice natural connection. And as we started working with our partners at the city and the county, they said, well, this is really a growing thing in our community as well. And we'd love to be able to bring more resources, provide more benefit, provide more opportunities for our community members. And so is this beautiful relationship where our community members get to have more resources, our students get to work hands-on and learn from entrepreneurs in the community. And I know, I've heard from many people that the students are learning a ton, but then our community members who get to learn or work with the students are learning so much as well. And so it's a really neat, very unique situation. We've had students build businesses and go on and do great things. We've had community members who have come in and, just like yourself, really become ingrained in the community. We've had interns working for our entrepreneurs. And the thing that we did not expect that has been so impactful for our students and really on campus is the concept that entrepreneurs know and live and breathe every day that failure is just a data point. I know I've heard you say fail fast and you have to learn from it. Our students are so afraid. Well, and I don't mean all students, but a lot of students are afraid of failure. And the moment that they step into the center, they start seeing failure in action, where it's just a data point and then you learn from it. And that is so powerful. And so I know the students who have been involved with the center have grown so much professionally and personally, because now they're no longer afraid of failure. They are able to kind of master that ability to just see it as, okay, that's okay. Now we're going to move on. And that's huge. So it's really developing these lifelong lessons as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I mean, it's like anything, right? When you go in and immerse yourself in it, you see the behind the curtain, right? There's always that front, interface and dashboard view of anything. And then there's the how it really works. And entrepreneurship is one of those things that in culture in general, right? It's this, the Elon Musk, the Jeff Bezos, and the Steve Jobs, and the Bill Gates, and it's this lustrous and all this amazingness. And we see locally here, we've got Root Insurance that just exited, and it's this a multi-billion-dollar IPO, first of its type in Columbus. There's a lot behind the scenes that is kind of controlled chaos, products that tried to launch, nobody remembers, or thinks about now, the Amazon phone, right? They were going to take over, cellular, and then it didn't really work. Or that the iPad was actually the second attempt by Apple at a tablet, right? They had launched one way too early. And so a lot of times it's about timing, it's about the marketplace. And us as entrepreneurs, we take stabs, and they could be grand successes and they could be failures. It's like being a coach and going for it on 4th and 1, right? If it makes it, you're the hero. If you fail, how dare you? Fire them.
Absolutely.
But that's the world of entrepreneurship. So
that's right. Absolutely. And, we have our athletic kind of culture on campus too, just since you brought up being a coach. That's so strong, and it does teach so many great career lessons, and it really does relate a lot to entrepreneurship. We're seeing a lot of our athletes have an interest, just this natural interest into entrepreneurship, and it makes sense. They've been able to get knocked down and get back up and be coached, but also lead. It's kind of a nice little connection there that we're starting to see grow on campus too.
Yeah. Yeah, no one. So obviously, students, we see that. We'll dive into, career connection and how that, ties into the greater ecosystem. But, just curious, why the center for the greater at large community? So, obviously Delaware, the city, we see the benefit, economic development, startup, health, Main Street business, help. And then the county, obviously looking at the same thing, bringing jobs to the area, making this, a great area to be part of, work, live, play. But, Ohio Wesleyan's got, the education route. So I guess, the benefit or what you guys see as being part of that, and not just taking this journey as an pure academic institutional center, right? That's only for OWU students.
Right. Absolutely. Well, speaking from Ohio Wesleyan, it is such a part of our core to be a part of the community and kind of break down barriers between us and the community, and to be an active member of the community. We want Delaware, the city and the county, to thrive and to be a strong community, and it is. And if we can be a part of that, if we could provide faculty expertise or students to be a part of that, that's huge. We really want to also provide opportunities for our students to put theory into practice. So get outside of the classroom and really try this. You've been learning about it. You've had kind of the seeds planted. So now get out there and really do it. That's such a part of who we are. We really couldn't imagine just simply putting up walls and saying, nope, we're just here to do X. We want to be involved. We want to be active community members and contribute to society. We also wanted to show our pride in our community. And what I mean by that, we love to be able to bring in folks from out of state or out of the country and showcase how strong Delaware is and how there can be a future for folks here right in Delaware. there's so much to be a part of, and we're just honored to be able to contribute to that. And we thought this was such a natural way to engage our community, to engage our alums, to engage our students in a way that then gives back to others in the community. So it was this nice kind of positive social impact, initiative, if you will.
Yeah, no, well, and that's truly, kind of the definition of, of ecosystem, right? And the word can get overused sometimes, and I think it's one of those buzzwords out there, now. But it truly, we say all the time, it takes a village to raise kids. It takes a village to start a company, and
Yes.
the more resources and the more minds and the help and the resources that you can pour into those, the greater chance for success. And I think one of the staggering things that you see out there, it depends on, who you ask and what exactly defines, venture-backed companies or ones that have just started or Main Street businesses. But in general, it's about a 15% success rate for startups.
Right.
So beyond 5 years, right? So
yeah,
that, is horrendous, right? And a lot of them, they don't have the resources, they don't have the help. They're they don't know what they don't know. Sometimes it's self-inflicting, and they think they know it all and don't realize that there's a whole big world out there that they have to discover yet.
Right.
But that's truly involving the different what Sean Hughes and the city of Delaware, with Sean's extensive background in economic development and the resources that they have. The county with Bob Lamb and his team at the economic development and the commissioners of what they can do. And then institutional. As far as we know, it's one of the first in the country, or the first in the country, to involve all three of those: a county government, a city government, and an academic institution.
That's right. Yes. And especially with a liberal arts institution. We are completely dedicated to being able to be an active partner. And you're right. The city and the county, we couldn't have done this without them. And we're still, we actually meet every other week just to make sure, okay, what do we need to do? Let's share some good news. Let's share what we have coming up. So we are not just partners in the sense of, okay, you go run this and we'll be over here to take pictures. They are actively involved and engaged and dedicated. And that is really, really special. And it's just powerful. It's very, very powerful. And then something that we're seeing too is, I think now that we have this started, there's this positive snowball kind of that's taking place where, people are starting to learn about what we're doing. It sparks an idea, or two entrepreneurs who have very separate ideas start just chit-chatting. And it just starts that way, whether it's at the center over a cup of coffee, or they hear what's going on and they've come to one of our educational programs. And so they saw each other, started networking, and new businesses are starting to rapidly be developed, which is really, really exciting. And then we have students coming to us as first-year students saying, hey, I've already started this business. How can we grow this? It's so powerful, and it's only growing. That snowball is pretty exciting to see, that it's, we're building, we're growing, and things are really happening. I think you and I even chat every so often. I think I say this to you probably weekly, like, it's happening. All right. And that's kind of the essence of an entrepreneur. You have to kind of keep that momentum going. And sometimes you're going to have to push and challenge norms. And, I think it's safe to say that the entrepreneurial mindset is maybe not the first thing that you think of when you think of higher ed in government. And so it's pretty unique to have leaders who say, yes, go for it. Let's make this happen. So that's been a gift, really, to work with leaders who want to make this happen as our leaders do. Yeah,
no, definitely. And we see some of the comments on Facebook coming in. We appreciate that. And we'll share some of those up here. But you're exactly right. Definitely not the first thing that you think of when you think of government or academic institution, right? You've got the speed of government that we joke about, the bureaucratic stuff out there, but how it's come together, and the players that have come in, so
Yeah.
the leaders, allowing that to happen, and that hive, right, that buzz that you get here. I mean,
Yeah.
the water cooler talk, if you will, when of course we had COVID hit here, but we still stayed pretty much engaged with each other.
Yeah.
But I know, myself and our company, I mean, we've been here since, day one.
Right.
Sit up here. I'm in the center now, overlooking at OWU's campus, and see the city of Delaware. It's beautiful.
Right.
And we would not be where we're at without, literally, there was a conversation that I had with JD Davids on January 2nd of 2020 that led us to our Air Force contract.
That's
I mean,
right.
that's the stuff that you can't force it.
Right.
You can't create it.
Yep.
You just have to have the place where innovation can happen, right?
That's
And
right.
that's exactly what has been built here. Which, and I think one of the big things to share there. Appreciate that, SJ, the shout out there. I think one of the big things that we need to express to people is that this is not just an OWU thing. Like, I think driving by on OWU's campus, this is here as a resource for anybody in Delaware County in particular, but really anybody, across the country. I mean, we're working with companies in San Francisco to help them get an Air Force contract.
Exactly.
The stuff that's happened here, I mean, is just been a product of really, again, having the place that innovation can occur. So, but
That's right.
your perspective on it all. I mean, how's it going? Where's it headed? All that, and then again, how it ties into what you do, and probably explain that a little bit. But career connection, what that how that fits into the ecosystem, right?
Absolutely. Yes. And something else. So you mentioned that it's not just Ohio Wesleyan. I really want everybody watching to know too that this is not just a place to park your desk. So what I mean by that, it's not just a place where if you're just simply looking for an office and you want to come in and you just need a place to park. We're really looking to help grow and launch and expand and ideate and create. Now, we also have spots for people who need to just come in and work, but we want to be that innovative, collaborative space. And we've been really, really successful finding members and finding community members to be a part of that. And just as you're saying, that those water cooler talks that just kind of expand what we have going on. So wanted to just throw that out there too, that we're so much more than just a place to come sit. But I appreciate the time to share a little bit about Career Connection, and to share what we have going on there and the kind of the natural fit with what we have at the center going on with Career Connection. So I'll share just a little bit of background. About 3 years ago, so interestingly, it kind of aligns really nicely with the creation of the Entrepreneurial Center. Ohio Wesleyan started really looking at how we were delivering career development and career services to our students. And we realized there was so much more that we could be doing. We were providing wonderful service. However, we were not delivering this full picture of how we can develop our students. So we were kind of skipping over some developmental stages. We also relied a lot on the students to come to us. So the onus was really more on them to seek out the help. Well, as a lot of us know, we're working with mostly students about 18 to 22, and kind of waiting for them to ask for help was not the most beneficial. And so we really took a step back and said, how can we increase the return on investment for families and students who are coming here? How can we fully develop our students to become well-rounded future leaders in whatever industry? How can we make sure that they have the tools to navigate not only getting that very first job after graduation or getting into grad school, but the tools to navigate a whole lifelong, successful, fulfilling career? And so we really turned the model on its head. We decided no longer will we be kind of the traditional transactional model. We're going to be ingrained and woven into the daily life of campus. So how we do that, we start working with students from the moment they step on campus to talk about their career. We never start with, so what do you want to be when you grow up? Because that doesn't really help. But we do start talking about passions and interests and values. And then we start weaving in career exploration, meaning let's get you out of the classroom and start seeing what it's actually like to do this, which is a wonderful way that we can partner with our colleagues in the Entrepreneurial Center. Come over here, see what it's actually like. Because we have a lot of students who say, well, I want to be my own boss. So getting them over into the Entrepreneurial Center so they can actually see what that means has been life-changing. And then we have been able to partner with our faculty members to incorporate career into the curriculum. We also work with athletic coaches, with alumni partners, with our other staff on campus to make sure that we are all having these conversations and really focusing on transferable skills. A lot of times people hear soft skills, so communication, critical thinking, those things that really relate back to the entrepreneurial mindset. And we call those power skills because they are truly what sets our students apart from other students, from other institutions. We have employer after employer say to us, wow, your students come in here and they not only match up skill-wise with our R1 schools, like big state institutions, maybe down the road from us, or Ivy League schools, they exceed them in their human-to-human relationship building or communication. I trust them in front of clients. Those are the things that really set our students apart. And so being able to bring in Delaware Entrepreneurial Center at Ohio Wesleyan with Career Connection, we're able to help members who are starting businesses and other community members link up with interns who will exceed expectations. I know, Steve, you've had a few interns as well, and then many times they go on to work full time for those companies and start their own businesses. It's just this natural connection to bring in the students, let them see it in action, let them get their hands dirty and try out what's going on. We have some students who even say, I don't think I ever want to be an entrepreneur, but I love the environment. And it's a fast pace, it's a everybody hands-on type of environment. And that's what our students really, really want. So that's where that kind of natural fit takes place. And I think it was one that we didn't even really know how it was going to work until we really started it. And then now I can't imagine that relationship not being there and being as strong as it is.
Yeah, well, no, you're exactly right. And speaking of down the road, we got Jim Leonard here, the village admin down at Johnstown, Ohio, says, come on down to Johnstown. So absolutely. I mean, that's what this is all about. I mean, Johnstown has an amazing ecosystem down there. They've got a thriving business park and space for companies as they come through here. Right? There's places outside. It doesn't have to be all about Delaware and settling here. It's
right.
Let's play into the larger Central Ohio ecosystem. It's the Ohio against the world mentality, right? So
that's right. Absolutely.
So then we got SJ here, says absolutely no reason why a student cannot have a thriving small business or startup as a freshman or any other class on campus. And I think, SJ, you're exactly right there. And SJ, by the way, is with the SBDC. In addition to having his own businesses, he is a facilitator for the SBDC, which is the Small Business Development Center. So we are actually partnered with the SBA at large and the SBDC organization through Columbus State to, again, provide those resources, those services to help businesses have students. Students can create companies in here. I mean, it's really all about that, as you mentioned, that growth, right? And then that entrepreneurial mindset experience, that entrepreneurship experience. It is funny, you hear students, you hear people, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to do this, and then you see everything that it takes, right? It's not easy. If it were easy, everybody would do it. But at the same time, with the right systems, the right input, the experience. I mean, we've got Robert Holmes down there, who's vice president at a large corporation that provides his input and has been entrepreneurial his entire life, and you get to learn from that, right? Cut the learning curve. 20 years 30 years, 40 years of experience,
Yeah.
and you get that, in small doses. You can't learn it all overnight, but it's one of those, let me help you not make the mistakes that I made, or here's what we did.
Yeah.
That really makes it unique, right?
Yeah. And Steve, something that I really love about entrepreneurs, and I know this is going to sound like a big blanket statement, but it's really neat to see that entrepreneurs are willing to share their experiences. It's not like I'm going to keep my successes and my pitfalls to myself and make you go through it.
Right.
That's a pretty unique thing, I would say, that I think there's a kind of a unity maybe that, like, hey, let's raise all boats. Let's help each other. And if I've learned from this, I want to share it with you. And I think that's really unique. It's certainly what I'm seeing in our center. Maybe I can't speak for every center, but that's the culture that we've created, and that has helped. I know it's helped students go from ideation to actually creating their own nonprofit, creating their own social media platform. I mean, it's really taken them from A to Z. And I know it's done the same for our community members who are involved in the center. I mean, sharing your experience, and it's this nice way of giving back. It's pretty inspiring.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I mean, I think you're exactly right. I think entrepreneurship in general, and I've seen a shift in the startup world, the entrepreneurial world over the last decade, I'd say, especially here in Columbus, is that we take pride in the Midwest mentality, right? That everybody's kind of neighborly. It wasn't always, like that. The entrepreneurship system or the ecosystem that existed wasn't always like that. But I've seen the shift where, I mean, it's exactly what you say. I mean, how can I help you? And
Yeah.
it's not that it's this selfless instead of this selfish,
Yeah.
right? And that's what's so amazing is the openness and willingness of amazing people willing to help those that are just starting, or those that don't know what they don't know, right? And a lot of times I think we're fearful of asking for help, for admitting that, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, right? I mean, nobody wants to say that. They always want to act like, oh, I've got all the answers. And quite frankly, when you start asking for advice, you usually get it, not only what you want, but usually tenfold. Right. And that's what's amazing, is that there are those resources, there are those people out there right here in our local community, that can help people, start, grow, scale, exit, business. That's kind of what we say around here. Right. And so that's, I think, the opportunity. We want to publicize that. We want people to know that, hey, this isn't just a university thing. Absolutely. We involve the university. There's a ton of resources that exist at OWU that play into this. And quite frankly, now we've built, this system with AFWorks, which a lot of people might not know about. But AFWorks is an Air Force DoD program that literally will fund your idea, your business, as long as it's contributing to, they call it the warfighter, right? So this is an Air Force start, but if you're contributing to the warfighter success or the mission at hand by the U.S. Air Force, they will pay to research that, but not as a grant, as a contract. So, and I'm living proof of it. We've been able to get a few of these now. But I'm there as a resource to help other people. Like, I would love, our goal, or my goal with this, is 10 years, or 10 a year, within 2022. I think it's achievable. So if you've got an idea, if you've got a business out there that's either already functioning so that, can service the DoD and not in typical government contract fashion, or if you've got, an idea that, you're trying to start up and build. I was having a conversation with a couple of entrepreneurs last night, and they help programs talk to other programs. So, like, think about in the DoD, imagine all the systems that they have that can't talk to each other. And if those things could talk to each other, that's a benefit. And so that's something that the Air Force is willing to fund. I've seen fertility treatments get funded by the Air Force AFWERX program, because if you think about it, the Air Force as a whole, 600,000 people large, and they're living on bases. They're like mini cities. They deal with the same problems as a typical community. And so that is a benefit to them. Mental health, we only think of it as weaponized systems, and it's really about, hey, that's 5 to 10% of what the Air Force does. Everything else is running the systems in the cities, that make all that happen. So
absolutely.
I guess, tying that into OWU and knowing the resources and why that, you've seen it now firsthand with the program and everything and how that plays into our ecosystem here. But I mean, kind of, if you want to give some color on what makes that unique and what OWU's system can make that unique.
Absolutely. Well, and I would add, you're being very humble, because you've taken on so much of mentoring others as they go through the process. And I think that's part of what makes us so unique, that we do have folks like you who are experts, and who, even though you're there 24/7 basically, and working in truly the middle of the night, you never say, no, sorry, I can't help. So if somebody is interested in pursuing this type of funding, you're always the first one to say, let me be a mentor, let me help you be successful. And then we, as Ohio Wesleyan, come in and help with some of the behind the scenes things. So we can help with some of the payment things, or helping with making sure that your team gets paid, those types, like admin type things. So you can really focus on what you need to focus on. I know that it's made a huge difference in what you're doing, your business. It's a tipping point for a lot of people. And so we can be here to help make all of that process so much smoother and really help you launch. We've also been growing almost like a pool of folks who can be resources for everybody going through that. So I know that you've done a lot on that front too. Figuring out who can be the expert here, if we need a chemist, great. We have Barry from Ohio Soybean. Let's get him on the phone and he can be part of your team. That's very, very unique. So no longer do you have to vet all of these people and go through the very cumbersome patent process, because we have Rob Leck here and he's going to help you the whole way. So we have this whole team now that can really help make a difference for those going through the AFWERX process and other processes as well.
Yeah, well, and I think that's the great thing is it parlays over. So you don't have to go after the Air Force, but that is a way to fund some of these players, and to anybody out there in the community, if you've got an asset, you have a business that services small businesses, if you've got a skill set that is unique and or just in general you're an expert in your category, we want to talk to you, because what we want to build is that database, as Megan said, of people and folks in this area that can contribute to this, and more in a fractional way. So you can plug in and get compensated for that time. And then who knows? I mean, it might develop into full-time stuff if that's, what somebody wants to pursue, or it might be, like Mr. Biz, he's helping with cash flow analysis and stuff with our business. And the goal there is to set that up so that he is a resource for all these companies. He has no interest in coming in, being full-time at NECO or at any other company. He's doing his own thing, which is awesome. He's an entrepreneur himself. We want to support that, but we can help. Right. It's not, I don't want to play it as, lead generation. It's not, it's being a participant in these amazing things that, think if you're working with 8 companies that are, growing and scaling or whatever, and that's just part of his business, networking. So that's really what it's about. The resources, the connections, that ecosystem, both for people that want to build and then people that want to participate in it. And again, it's the hub, as you alluded to. Doesn't have to be the physical hub. You're welcome to be here and all that, but we do a lot virtually, and especially now with the COVID environment, it's we're all familiar. It's weird to get on a regular phone call anymore, right? Because we got this, and it can be Zoom fatigue and video overload and all that. But I think the important thing is that there's an omnipresence out there, right? So we're there, we're here.
Yeah.
Come reach out to us, email us, connect. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
So probably just email me. That way I can be reached at all times. So my email address is just mrellis, MRELLIS @OWU.edu. You can also reach us on our website. Steve, I don't know if we can add a text up there, but if we can, that would be awesome.
I can do it through the wizardry.
There we go.
So there's Megan's email address.
Yay!
So, and then,
perfect.
Give me a second. I'll be able to get the website address. But.
Perfect. And for everybody watching on Facebook, you can always send a message through Facebook as well. Trust me, it'll reach us. So we're here. We've got a lot of great things going on. And, I wanted to touch on too, just with COVID, I think it's really neat to see that during COVID, we were able to keep the doors open. We were able to provide support to our members. And during that time, our members were still growing. And that's huge, that we were able to be a place for them to continue to work, continue growing. We had a member who was able to get COVID testing really early on approved by the FDA. I mean, we've got some pretty amazing things going on within our walls and then beyond in the whole community. So we're really pretty excited about what's going on. We really invite everybody to be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, and and we'll continue, doing these. So if you yourself or anybody that should be a good Fireside Friday chat guest, we're happy to reach out and have them on. So please, reach out for those as well. Our goal is, again, to deliver value. You'll see, we're trying to build the social platform, the sharing of content. Right. So we've got the 1 Million Cups organization that we share. If you've got a startup story that you want to tell, you go to 1 Million Cups. They're a player in the ecosystem. We share those here on the OWU Facebook page. Megan does some awesome panel sessions and chats with true specific areas of topics, right? So that we're trying to provide those workshops and do it in a virtual way so that people can participate. Leave it out there on Facebook so people can go back and watch. That's really, again, we're funded by Ohio Wesleyan University, the county, and the city as a resource for everybody around, in our county, Delaware County, the OWU students, and then Central Ohio at large. It doesn't stop there. So the noise will keep happening. We'll keep on buzzing, and please join us in our mission. Right? It's been an amazing time. So we never have any set time on these, but probably chatted enough here. So we've given some resources for people to reach out. So I'll share that again. But closing words from you. What is the conclusion here and what people?
Yeah, I would say be a part of our ecosystem. We are so excited to continue to grow. We have so much more to do and expand and accomplish, and we want to do that with everybody here in our community, and just be kind of known as a place that you can go for resources, for networking, for great advice, for coaching, and then also to give back as a coach and be involved in other ways. So come meet us. Let's get in touch.
All right. Well, Megan, thank you for sharing, both what you do and SJ, completely agree. She's the asset here, OWU, the center. So
thank you all.
County, so yeah, thank you, Megan, for the continuation of everything that you do here. So at OWU and for the center, truly, this one of those things that is a benefit, has many people, many pieces. You obviously being one of those. So we appreciate your time. We appreciate you sharing the mission and the opportunity. Right. So. Well,
thank you, Steve, and thank you, everybody. Steve, really, this has been a joy. So thank you so much for hosting us and for leading us with such great greatness. Thank you.
do some co-host stuff sometimes here, so we can have up to 10 people on the screen. So we can have a really cool thing. So this is a cool platform. So, but again, appreciate the time, and I always try to close with the same message. So I say action equals traction. So go out, take action. You'll be amazed at what you can do. So everybody have a great week. We'll see you next time on Fireside Friday from the Delaware Entrepreneurial Center at Ohio Wesleyan University. Take care.
Bye.